Morning. Another episode of Ty Sports Picks 24. I'm going to say it again. Ty Sports Picks 24. Now, you see the title. We got a little midweek basketball news plus picks. So, let me hit you with the picks first. And also, we will have bonus picks if you stick around later in the show. So, the free picks that I'm giving you guys, you got in MLB, we got the Philadelphia Phillies. We have the Atlanta Braves, the Cleveland Guardians, the Chicago Cubs, Milwaukee Brewers, the Texas Rangers, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Diego Padres, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. In the WNBA, we have the Indiana Fever covering the spread minus 12.5. See if you can buy it down to 9.5. But if not, I trust it for 12.5. Now, as we know, or if you guys don't know, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the WNBA season. Caitlin Clark is making a lot of news waves. Charles Barkley was speaking up for her. As we know, there's been a back and forth between the legend Cheryl Swoops and Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith feels like they should have made special exceptions for the Olympics for Caitlin Clark. But also on the court in the world of WNBA, she's been setting all kind of rookie records. She's definitely leading for Rookie of the Year. She's pretty much a shoe-in. She also scored like a career high 31 points. And in the last, in the only 4 professional meetings between the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese in the Chicago Sky, it's 3-1 in the favor of Caitlin Clark in the Fever. So it's a lot going on in the world of basketball. Let's check out the standings as we're getting ready for the playoffs to come in the coming weeks. So if we go over to ESPN and we go to the WNBA standings for all you bettors, playoff time is a great time to, get involved. It's big stakes betting. Maybe you want to make a single bet. I don't know about parlaying playoff games, but hey, if we look over in the overall league standings, because it's only 12 teams, you'll see they got the New York Liberty that played for the championship last year. They're in the number 1 spot. They've already clinched the playoff spot at 27-6. Then you got Connecticut at 24-9. Then you have the Minnesota Lynx at 24-9 also, and they're in the 3rd spot. Then at the 4th spot, you got the reigning champions with Aja Wilson, Las Vegas Aces. They've been taking a couple L's, but they're 21-12. Then we got Seattle Storm. But the biggest story is 6-7. No, 6, 7, and 8. Because right now you're looking at Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark. They've been on a nice little winning streak. They've won 4 in a row since coming back from the Olympic/All-Star break. They're actually 17-6, so they're now over 500. They weren't before. But way back here, you got Chicago Sky. They're way out of the playoff race because they're how many games back? That's 16 games from the number 1 spot, but behind Phoenix Mercury, that's ahead of them, they're like 6 games back because Phoenix is 17-17 while the Sky is 11-22. So the Sky need to look to pick it up. I'm looking at the symbols at the bottom. X means, what does the X mean? That means you clinch the playoff spot. The C and the X means you clinched the playoff berth and won the Commissioner Cup. So I didn't even know they had a Commissioner Cup similar to the NBA. So that's good to know. I'm still learning on my WNBA news as well as you guys. But Charles Barkley actually went on Bill Simmons' show. Bill Simmons is a big time, basketball podcaster and a basketball fan. He was featured in the NBA 2K games not too long ago. I think they still have him in there, but he definitely was in the NBA 2K23. Like, he would come as a guest. Like, they the games are very realistic now, so they have live guests. And basically he was telling Bill Simmons that he felt like the hate that Caitlin Clark has been receiving from a lot of the veteran players and even the rookies in the WNBA is holding the league back. Caitlin Clark even had a run-in with her own coach. So she's going up against it, very Jordan-esque. It's like everybody's trying to attack Caitlin Clark. I guess she's the queen, not the king, but the queen with the crown, or she's fighting for it. Even names like the great Diana Taurasi, maybe over the Olympic thing, I'm not sure, but it's a lot of people that just have had unfavorable opinions about Caitlin Clark. But Sir Charles Barkley is definitely in her corner. So I read over the story, but we'll find some quotes. I don't want to, spend too much time on it because we do want to get on some NBA and some college basketball news. So it says Charles Barkley names the defining moment of Caitlin Clark's WNBA rookie season. Okay, so no, I think this is the wrong story. Sorry about that. But the show is live. Give me 1 second and I'll find the story that I was trying to tell you guys about. But yeah, basically he was going down all of the different fiascos that have taken place. Okay, so here it goes. So he's been talking about it a lot because it says Charles Barkley reveals which NBA legend he compares Caitlin Clark to. That's interesting. But this is the main one I'm talking about. But we'll touch on that NBA legend story also. But it says Charles Barkley destroys WNBA players for petty jealousness, poor treatment of Caitlin Clark. I don't know if jealousness is a word. I thought jealousy was the word, but hey, I'm not an English major. Yeah, it's basically saying, that Caitlin Clark's story in the NBA, Sir Charles certainly isn't holding back on it. So he went on the Bill Simmons podcast, as I told you guys before, and he's basically saying that over the last 6 months, it's just been the biggest story in women's basketball. It's been Caitlin Clark. And he actually says that it's despicable how other players have welcomed her into the pros, letting jealousy curb their actions. It says Clark, who is in the midst of an absolutely historic rookie season, deserves better treatment, says Charles Barkley. This is one of the quotes from it. We're going to try to, censor it. But basically he says, these ladies, and I am a WNBA fan, they cannot have they could not have blanked this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse than they tried, if they tried, said Barkley. If you got a bunch of dudes in a room and said, let's blank up or F up the WNBA, we couldn't have come up with a master plan better than what these women have done. He goes on to name, well, he doesn't go on, but the writer goes on to name several names of people that Barkley is referring to. The names are like the likes of Angel Reese, Diana Taurasi, I think Kennedy or Kennedy Carter. Then you have, I think it's Kennedy Carter. Okay. Then you have her coach, Christy Sides. So they all had run-ins with Caitlin Clark. So I don't know if it's Caitlin initiating some of it, because she is a bit of a trash talker. She doesn't shy away from that. She does play onto the rails to try to get fouls, similar to a lot of the NBA players, the Kobe's and different guys. She's a smart basketball player. Barkley is quoting it as saying, this stuff towards her is petty and jealous. Then he says, and the thing that I love about her is that she never says a word. So, yeah, she's a silent assassin, so she's not going to say anything. But, yeah, that's one of the big stories that's going on in the WNBA as they continue to move towards the playoffs. So I'm sure with the Indiana Fever being in the playoffs race and possibly the Chicago Sky, if they could somehow, salvage the season, being outside in the A spot, we'll see what it is. Going on to NBA news. If you guys don't know, for all you gamers, the NBA 2K game is actually coming out on Friday. This is being recorded on Wednesday. And a lot of people were complaining about free agents and a lot of retired players being left out of the game. One of the main people that they were complaining about was John Wall. So you see NBA 2K decision to remove multiple star players has fans in disbelief. So let's scroll down and just see some of the guys that were left out. Now, John Wall, during the Summer League, was quoted as saying basically he's not giving up on his career. His last season, which is 2022 with the Clippers, 2022, I think the 2022-23 season, he averaged 11.4 points per game. So he still could be useful as a role player nonetheless. Because he isn't even 34 years. Yeah, I'm used to saying point this and point that with basketball. He's not even 34 years old. He turns 34 on Friday. But it says among the list is John Wall, Blake Griffin, Andre Iguodala, Serge Ibaka, Myers Leonard, Bill Barton, Noah Von Lee, Valal, I guess, Dwayne Dedman, Rodney Magruder, Jermichael Green, and the Rails Noel. So a lot of fans are complaining about this. They want these guys as free agents they can sign. You never know. It's gotten a response from over 800,000 people on Twitter complaining about it. So hopefully there'll be updates and they'll keep John Wall. You see him picture right there. He's a Washington Wizards legend. You know, at the age of 33, he's already a legend for the franchise. Some fans are quoted as saying, "Seeing John Wall just breaks my heart." A top commenter wrote. Also, you see John Wall, Iggy, meaning Iguodala, and the Blake means the end of an era. Yeah, so a lot of people that came on watching basketball in the 20 teens, you know, John Wall, Blake Griffin, Andre Iguodala, these were some of the big names, you know. And Iguodala goes all the way back to, you know, the days with Denver Nuggets with Carmelo Anthony and Allen Iverson, where there were the two AIs, and then he was a part of the Warriors dynasty, giving them, you know, some versatility in defense. But yeah, it says that John Wall, the former number one overall draft pick for the Washington, last played for the Clippers during the 22-23 season, where he averaged 11.4 points, he averaged 5.2 assists, and he was averaging 40% shooting from the field, but he only played in 34 games. So I guess his health was an issue. But I think if he's a role player, Miami, he could always use a guy like him, you know, because he's a two-way player. I see him, you know, play hard defense also. So I think if you can, you know, manage his health with a good, you know, medical staff, he's 34. You know, I've seen guys, you know, continue on their career like the Vince Carters or the Ray Allens. You know, you just got to change your role. And he actually was quoted as saying he wants to get back in the league. He doesn't care what kind of role it is. So he is not one of those players that's going to fight with you about his role. Another story we want to look at, this is a redemption story. Ja Morant. People had so much bad things to say about Ja Morant. But do you guys know the Memphis Grizzlies star is actually, you know, in the good graces of Nike as they're looking to drop his second shoe? It says, first look at new edition of Ja Morant's signature on Nike shoe. The Memphis Grizzlies star is set to release the Ja 2 in October, featuring fresh designs, and hype is building up across the internet. One thing I like about this story when I was reading through it, I mean, the Nike Ja 1, it dropped around Christmas time 2022. That was right around the time leading up to a lot of the foolishness that got him suspended last year. It says its sleek, versatile design quickly became a favorite among basketball players and sneaker enthusiasts. Now, this new shoe is, instead of coming out in October, instead of coming out in December around Christmas, they're dropping it in October. I don't know how smart that is. Maybe they'll have a special colorway for Christmas. That's what I'm assuming. So, you know, have the shoe out in October, you know, that way people can buy it, you know, Black Friday, or maybe they'll buy it in October and then, you know, drop a different pair, you know, around Christmas time, maybe, you know, right 2 weeks or a week before Christmas. That would be smart, you know. But it says that a lot of people are anticipating the shoe. Let's see if we can see a picture of it. And the biggest thing I like about it, you know, it's affordable, but it's not cheap. You know, you don't want to go with the Shaq shoes because kids don't want to get picked on in school for having the Payless shoes. I know that's petty, but a lot of children are that way. You know, kids can be cruel. But it's not costing the LeBron or the Jordan 200, 180. John Morant, for it being a popular player and a popular shoe, his shoe is only $120. So that's going back to those 90s prices. You know, back when the Jordans would be like 90 or 100 for kids, and then 120 for adults, 125. So this is the Ja Morant. This is the Ja 1. It's a decent looking shoe. It looks kind of like the Kevin Durant and kind of like the old Kobe shoes, the Mambas. It says Nike's investment in Ja was clearly the right call, as the Ja 1 sold out several pairs and received more rave reviews from NBA players. The Ja 1 looks to build on the legacy, offering the shoe that supports Morant's explosive style of play and resonates with fans and players who admire his rise to stardom. So they say some of the themes of the new shoe is supposed to show like how he, you know, shot on crooked rims in summertime in South Carolina because that's where he grew up at. You know, okay, yeah. So here it said Ja Morant became the superstar he is today by reportedly sinking jumpers on crooked rims, jumping on tractor tires, and dribbling through sun-stained traffic cones in steamy South Carolina summers. So I'm trying to see. They actually had a picture of the Ja too. I'm gonna see if it'll come up because it was basically saying that it was revealed by Nice Kicks on X, which is Twitter. Okay, so here it goes. So this is one of the colorways. It's like a gray and gold. That's pretty decent, but it got a lot of Kobe in it. I know he was inspired by Kobe. And then they have this purple colorway. This is kind of the flashy one. You see, it says it will be dropping in October, and it's $120. So I think that price range, a lot of people go to the Nike factory. They got the hook up. You're 20% off. You can get that around maybe $100 if got a nice discount. But it's a nice shoe. I'm not so much of a fan of purple. I would love to see like the blue and gold colorway for the Memphis Grizzlies, but maybe that'll be the Christmas one. But this is a pretty dope shoe that's dropping. Another thing in Memphis basketball news, and we're gonna get out of here. There's been a lot going on with Penny Hardaway. I know we're all late 90s, early 2000s, basketball fans. We love Penny Hardaway when he was with the Suns, when he was a star in Orlando with Shaq in the early 90s. I was very little. But Penny Hardaway got to get it together because there's been several assistant coaches that have been let go by the Memphis Tigers college basketball program where he came from. He's a Memphis native. And a lot of people from Memphis, that's my heart. The second home. That's a lot of my friends are from there. They've been defending Penny Hardaway, but we gotta hold him to the fire like we do with the college football coaches. Penny got a lot going on, and I think because he's such a well-known name, nobody wants to criticize him. But we need to see what's going on over there in that Memphis basketball program, because that's a blue blood basketball program. That's a program similar to the Kentuckys and the Kansas and the Dukes. We were thinking, and it's like Penny's been doing okay, but they've been a fringe, NCAA tournament team. So a lot of people would like to see them step it up in that competitive American Conference. I know they're competing with South Florida in basketball, Florida Atlantic. Those are serious programs, but you guys are Memphis, and I don't know what all the turmoil is about, behind the scenes. Also, we saw the new coach from Kentucky, since John Calipari has left and went to Arkansas. I know they meet, I want to say January 2nd or early January. The new coach for Kentucky has been talking about how he's preparing for the season, and he basically said he wants the right people in the program. He's known as an offensive coach, but his first portal acquisition was actually one of the best defensive point guards in the portal. So it says Kentucky basketball head coach Mark Pope built a roster essentially from scratch when he took over the Kentucky job this offseason. So if we scroll down, he'll talk about the guy that he got out the portal. The guy slips my mind. I'm trying to find his name. Hold on. So it should say it in this last paragraph, and I'm gonna get you guys up out of here, and I'm gonna give you the bonus picks. It says Pope then talked about the team as a whole and how they understand what it is, what it means to play at Kentucky. Okay, so yeah, let me scroll up. It's a little bit before here. Okay, I think Lamont Butler is the guy that I'm speaking. Okay, yes, it says, then Mark Pope singled out one player on the current Kentucky roster that has displayed the type of person he means when he says find the right people. It was Lamont Butler. People talk about me as an offensive-minded coach because we shoot a lot and score a lot of points and run a lot and do a lot of things. I think Big Blue Nation was surprised for my first marquee signee in the portal. I signed the best defensive point guard in the country. So he's speaking of Lamont Butler. So basically, that's what's going on in the world of basketball. So I'm going to bring the screen back, and I'm going to give you guys those bonus picks that I know you guys are waiting for. So for the bonus MLB picks before we end the show, and let me pull up the regular picks really quick so you guys can remember the regular picks. And also donate to the Cash App down at the bottom, $TY Rebel22. The Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, or X instead of Twitter, is at TY Sports Picks 24. So follow me on all social media. But for the bonus picks, we got Baltimore Orioles. We have the Houston Astros, the Miami Marlins, the Tampa Bay Rays, the New York Mets, and the Seattle Mariners. So for the bonus picks, we got the Baltimore Orioles, the Houston Astros, the Miami Marlins, the Tampa Bay Rays, the New York Mets, and the Seattle Mariners. So that's going to be the show for the day. My name is Ty Sports Picks 24 Follow me on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, X, if you don't want to call it Twitter, at Ty Sports Picks 24. And please donate to the channel. My Cash App at $TY Rebel 22 is down at the bottom. I can also pull it up on the screen. Give me 1 second. So you can scan or you can just type it in $TY Rebel 22. I would appreciate your donations to support the channel, to support the StreamYard, so we can continue to grow. Thank you, and put the picks in. I hope you guys win today.